I was like, I'm done. No, something feels wrong. Oh yeah, volume levels. Why can't I get this right?
Did you try to talk before you raised the volume, or?
No, I just was like, I did one thing out of order, and it messed everything up in my head.
Because you didn't start last week, so like
No.
you're 2 weeks out of practice.
No, more than that, because the week before that we were in Indianapolis.
Oh right, 3 weeks out of practice. Then.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad I was able to push the buttons in the right order when we started it last week.
I'm kind of glad I'm not in charge of doing the button pushing.
No, wait, we were back before then. I don't remember if we did it. I don't know. Hey, everybody. JayzTwoCents here.
Honestly, for some reason, that Indianapolis
Aperol Spritz.
Indianapolis trip was like, it was so short, but it for some reason just took so much out of me. I don't know why. And it wasn't even during while we were there. It was like the recovery of it. You know, you come back.
You didn't have to go straight to there after LTX. Though.
I know, that's the weird thing. That's why I was like, what the heck? It was a 2-day trip. I don't know. Maybe I'm just old. I'm getting old. So.
What a week it's been.
Yeah, what a past.
So look, let's just address the elephant in the room. I don't know what to say or do.
The elephant in the room.
Oh my God. Did you have to do that? I am stuck in a Kobayashi Maru situation here. For all you Star Trek fans, if I said it right. This is an unwinnable situation.
Yeah.
Like there is no winning outcome in this. I am screwed in this aspect because there is no right or wrong thing to do here.
If you talk about it, or if you don't talk about it, right?
No, I already saw a comment go by. That's like not talking about it is being okay with it. That's 100% not true.
Yeah.
100% not true.
Well, this might be appropriate.
Yes.
Well,
because isn't it a screw?
No.
You gotta get it wet. Don't you dare lick it. Stop it!
It's okay because the alcohol cleans it at the same time.
I guess.
Are you just give it to me?
Oh,
it
doesn't anymore.
I don't know. I think I can do this. Hold on. This is
now you're fingering your hole.
reaming it.
Easy.
Hold on.
You got them all in there, dude. You get that bottle of prostate exam.
Hold on. Oh. It's just a squeak. It screamed for its life.
Does the other one do it?
I'll pour you.
The other one? Probably. I don't know. It's a really big neck though, so. You might have to pour me a double on this one today. Just pour a double.
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh directly on the microphone.
Oh.
Look, it's like I've talked about it with the team, whether or not I should. Whose cups are these? Oh, one's going to be Phil's. Whether or not I should even address this. How should I address it? The thing is, there's no right answer. But people won't stop asking because it's a big deal. It's a really big deal. But I'm just so torn because I'm not a drama channel. I'm not a drama piece. I don't like it. I'm not comfortable with it. It's uncomfortable. And I'm just not. It's just the fact that what?
The thing.
I was like, you look like you were pointing at the soundboard. I'm like, what? This one? There you go. There we go.
I was trying to say cork and stopper at the same time, and nothing came out. But it was about to be copper.
But part of me also just wants to put it out put it out in the air right now, where it's like, look, if you want to know my opinion on this, reference this clip, and that's it. That's it, and stop addressing it. You know, but. I mean, I think everyone knows obviously what we're referring to.
Yeah. And
it's really no different than when a company messes up. And by company, I mean like a brand that we're working with, like the Asus drama and all that sort of stuff. It's just, it's less about what the problem is and how was the problem handled.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there were some immediate knee-jerk responses that only made the problem worse. Mm-hmm. And then there's the allegations from an ex-employee that now make it very serious. And all I can say is that knowing the team like I have, and by the team, I mean, I've known like Linus, Luke, Yvonne, Nick, Colton. That's it. And Ed to a degree. Brandon's not with the company anymore. Taryn's not with the company anymore. Max isn't with the company anymore. So it's like, I know like the core group, and as they've expanded, I don't know anyone else in the team.
Yeah.
So I can't speak to any of the culture. I have no idea what that culture is.
Yeah, the only one there that I really know is Luke.
Yeah,
because Linus was obviously busy when we were at CS that one time.
But let's just get this out of the way so we can move forward with the show. But I firmly believe that they want to do better. But I think it's very unfortunate that it took this level of I don't want to say exposure or expose, but it took this level of
calling outness.
someone putting it all in one. Here's just one focused package of the problem to get attention to the problem, because there was a lot of information that was easy to cite stating that the internal culture didn't believe there was a problem. Now, look, as somebody that's been on the receiving end, and I'm going to take this sip now.
Cheers.
I forgot
Not
the cheers.
to the drama,
I forgot the
please.
cheers, but I just went ahead and drank.
Yeah, that's fine.
Ooh, I forgot how good that glyph is. So as someone that has been on the receiving end of valid criticism, invalid criticism, focused and coordinated hate for the sake of hate, and blind loyalty, which all of these... blind loyalty is terrible. Anyone that's like, no one can do this, this brand XYZ cannot do any harm. That's a very dangerous mindset to have. I can tell you that we've made honest efforts to limit mistakes.
Yeah.
We've made mistakes, but we've always owned them. And by we, I mean me. I've never gone out there and just been like, well, Nick messed up. Lord knows I had plenty of opportunity. No, I'm just kidding. But I've never been like, Nick messed up or Brian effed up. People are like, who the heck is Brian? Or I've never done that because I'm running the show.
The only time that you've done that on a pinned comment was when it was actually my fault, and then I told you to do it.
Are you talking about like an editing mistake or something?
I think it was either like one of them was like the first clip was colored or something, and then another one was I think I put the wrong number in one graph like once. But besides that, that's actually...
Oh, no, I can think of one time, I think the 1080 and 4K were inverted kind of a thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. And again, these were mistakes that led to us going, okay, let's pull back and figure out a better procedure to make sure this kind of thing doesn't happen again.
Yeah. And I mean, you've worked for me long enough that you know that is usually my default reaction immediately to something bad that happened, right? It was like the like the SD card thing, right? When I accidentally formatted a whole day's shoot.
Oh yeah,
right?
And Nick's been on
I've
that
done
end.
it too.
Yeah. But what did we do? What did I do immediately? Okay, now we need 2 SD cards so that never happens again. Because if you format one and you don't catch it by the second time,
you're never going to be mistake free.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's opportunity to fix those mistakes. Now,
exactly.
Where do I feel like a lot of these problems sort of stem at LMG? I feel like it's pretty obvious. It's the speed at which they're moving, which is ironic because typically people have said we move quick as a small team, but we don't put the pressure on ourselves to be like daily uploads on every channel every day. We don't have that level of pressure, if you will.
Our team is like, what, 30 times smaller than Linus is?
Yeah, something
like that. Yeah, so
maybe more.
To give you guys
maybe
perspective.
more.
Yeah, 30 to 40 times smaller than Linus.
But
to give you perspective.
But I think, oh my goodness, see, I did not intend on talking about this today. I really didn't. I just want to stay in my lane, which is to talk about tech that I'm interested in. But I cannot help the fact that this is what people want to hear right now. And I have no doubt my words in some way today are going to be used against me. But all I'm trying to say is like, I can't speak to their thoughts. I can't speak to the why they are where they are. I have no idea. I'm not privy to their inner workings.
Yeah.
You know, at LTX, I think I might have had less than 10 minutes of conversation with Linus the entire time.
That's the exact reason why I don't know Linus anywhere near as well as Luke, is because like he's a busy dude. You know what I mean? His time is like he's everywhere all the time.
I want to say the video they put out regarding each department head's response to how they're going to try and prevent issues in the future. I believe it's genuine. I do.
Agree.
Of course, anything that comes out is going to be labeled damage control. And to be fair, it is damage control. It's damage to the community. It's damage to the brand. It's damage to the reputations of their brand. And yes, it is damage control. But if you accidentally start a fire, do you go, well, I deserve this fire. Let's just let it burn.
Exactly.
Or do we go, let's put the fire out and let's not do what made the fire happen again?
Because like, what really is the difference between damage control and the first steps to fixing a problem? Like, they're kind of both the same.
But to be honest,
right?
on the flip side, and this is going to be where I think my words might get used against me, I think people were waiting for a reason to be outraged. because Linus is number one in the PC space.
And it's really easy. It's really easy to.
And you know, I
Pick on a big
hate
target.
to really just quote The Dark Knight, but the only thing people love more than a hero is seeing a hero fall. And when the Joker said that, it's true. People are on your side until finally they're just like, I want to see what happens when you die. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's why every comic book hero in Marvel, even if they were just dream sequences or something, has been killed at some point because they want to see how the audience responds to the death of a hero. Now, I'm not calling Linus a hero. I'm just saying, like, you have the hero, you have your anti-hero, you have those that are going to be against the hero no matter what, just because of their nature. I think a lot of people were just waiting for any reason to dogpile. Now, I cannot speak to, and I will not speak to the Madison claims because I don't know her. I don't know the team that she worked for. It's my understanding this was 2 years ago that these claims happened. I feel like the right move was launching an investigation. But at the same time, I've seen some criticism saying, well, they hired their own investigator. Of course, they're going to find in their favor. That's not true. But I think the optics look, if it was a third-party investigator, it's like that wasn't hired by LMG, but also not hired by Madison. Who's going to hire the investigator?
Yeah, right. Because like that's no one's involved anymore.
Right, because the moment you find out LMG is paying for the investigator, there's going to be those that'll be like, no matter what the outcome is, you can't. Can you trust it? It's like a grape juice company funding a research project that says drinking grapefruit or grape juice will make you skinny. Do you trust the results because it came from a very biased source?
That was like constant in like the 90s, huh?
Yeah, grape juice.
Yeah, and like Big Milk too. Like milk was. I remember that getting pushed.
But my point is, like, I feel like it's a move in the right direction, but you know, it's like, is anyone going to trust the outcome, especially if the outcome is favorable for LMG? I'm not in that situation. I've never been in that situation. I have zero experience in that situation, so I have no idea what to say or think about that. Yeah. Other than like, I've had a lot of people write me and be outright demanding that I report on it, to report on the tweets that were put out. And my response to everyone has been roughly the same. Would you expect a due process if the allegations were against you? Would you expect everyone to dogpile on you and beat you up? Or would you hope that everyone would want to wait and see what the investigation and through that due process brings? Now, someone has to initiate the due process. You know, the bottom line is, I feel like the processes are there for a reason. We have to trust that the processes are going to be utilized. And that's all we as third parties that were not there can do. Because so far, the people corroborating are ex-employees as well, which you could, on one hand, say, oh, of course, an ex-employee is maybe disgruntled, but would a current employee risk their job saying anything? So
there's so many factors.
There's so many immeasurable influences in this whole situation. It's unfortunate. It's been depressing. We've had meetings about it ourselves because we've had brands reach out to us even wanting to talk about it. And we're like, whoa, the brand relationship between you and me has nothing to do with you and Linus. There's nothing to talk about here. It's just, it's unfortunate that the amount of people that are expecting us to take a stance, and what that stance is, I don't know. All I can say is it's depressing. It's disappointing. And by depressing and disappointing, I mean all the cited information that accuracy was not important enough to reinvest time and energy in.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's one thing that I know I've done is make a lot of mistakes, and I at least try to rectify those mistakes when possible. And this isn't me standing on a soapbox now with the vision of 2020 hindsight a week later seeing what people are saying. It's just the way we've operated, and we've been making changes, and I hope people at least recognize that. It's one of the reasons why I pulled back from trying to do any sort of like reviews that are any deeper than surface level, because I understand that my strengths are not in drilling down into the nitty gritty of specs and testing claims and all that sort of stuff. I'm not equipped to do it both intellectually or equipment wise.
Yeah.
Now we would like to get to some level of that, but in our attempts to do that and having it blow up in our face has made us go, okay, we need to rethink this. And that's because of our obligation and how we feel, what we feel we owe to the audience. Now, I know a lot of what I just said sounds a lot of like, okay, well, you know, you're saying what you're hearing everyone say about Linus, but I don't know if people will take your word for it, but we've talked about this long before this happens.
Yeah.
It's happened. So that's it. It's upsetting. I only know them as people. I don't know them on a company level. I've never had a company relationship with LMG. So I cannot speak to, and the other thing I want to talk about too, which is brought up quite a bit, is my tweet regarding reaching out to Billet Labs. They did respond to me. Obviously right now they don't have anything to send me. They did say that they are absolutely willing to work with us when they're ready to show something. And I just feel like as a water cooling enthusiast, I would have loved to have looked at whatever it is that they had to show. I can't fault them for going with what seemed like the biggest exposure. And I guess maybe ultimately at the end of the day, they got a whole lot of exposure out of the, and not that that was ever a motive for them, but it was like just a happenstance that the situation led to, with egregious breakdowns of communication internally, led to a situation where their name is now everywhere.
It's kind of like a, what is it, silver lining or whatever on the cloud? Isn't that the phrase? I don't know.
The silver lining is, I think, referring to jackets or something. But anyway, no, it's just finding the silver lining, which is there's a positive to any situation.
Yeah.
And the positive to this situation is that, one, we can all learn from other people's experiences. And I think all of us as content creators right now are definitely paying attention to what's happening over there. And how do we keep that from happening to us? Just as much as, let's say the situation was reversed, I would absolutely be expected to be held to a standard that is community oriented.
Yeah.
And if enough people were like, hey, you're being a complete disservice to the community, and the community includes brands, like what happened with the Billet Lab situation. I can understand Linus's immediate emotional response, because this is my life's work, that's his life's work. And I think people who've been around here long enough know I've had a very emotional response to criticism in the past. And I hope people have realized the last several years that hasn't been the case, because it really took a lot of maturing for me to no longer take a critical comment straight to my core, which is what I used to do.
Yeah, same.
I used to take a critical comment like straight to the fabric of my being, which was not doing anyone any favors. It wasn't doing myself any favors. It wasn't doing mental health any favors. And I think the last few years I've made a real solid effort to take criticism when valid. And then I think that term itself right there could probably be held against me. I'm not determining what I consider as valid criticism. I'm taking how people respond to a public criticism and what they say in response. Like, let's say someone says, Jay, your 4060 Ti review was complete garbage. Not to throw you under the bus, but we're a team.
That's fine, it happened.
You gave me your notes and I okayed them.
Yeah.
Right? I did not see the talking bits, but I saw your notes and I okayed them. And I was distracted because it was vacation time finally for me and the family for the first time in years. And I was very distracted by that. And I did a disservice to the community by not putting myself in a proper consumer perspective to gauge value on that card. And what did I do? I took the card down. And I said vacation. That's not right. That was the laptop video you did. I just had surgery. I was recovering from surgery.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. But the vacation was the laptop one in April, where we just were like,
yeah, that one
we were sad that it didn't get a lot of views, and you really had fun making that video. Yeah. But I digress. I no longer take criticism personally anymore like I used to. And I would really hope that those that are in the chat that have been there in the past when I was just like, I'm not taking shit from no one. I'm just going to smack back. And you know what? That was way more tiring than just going, you know, this guy probably has a point. So I enjoy where I am now. And it's just depressing to see our community basically in a state of civil war at the moment. And I don't mean civil war as in like creator versus creator. I'm talking about the viewer.
Yeah.
Because when this stuff happens, armies form on their own, and then they start fighting each other over Steve's motives or Linus's motives, or this person said that, and it's just, that's not, I don't want any part of that. I don't want any part of that. I firmly believe all of us tech creators do what we do because we love what we do. We all try to provide something unique from each other. And I don't personally find any of us in competition.
Yeah.
So
I hate when people like act like that. You know what I mean? Like there's like, oh yeah, I love your videos. Like I never watch Linus because Linus's videos suck. It's like, dude,
Is that more like blind loyalty at that point?
yeah, well, yeah, that's fanboyism. But it's like it's super annoying when, it's like they're putting somebody else down that in that space. You know what I mean? And it's like, and you know them as a colleague.
I'm seeing
some
a lot
of them as friends.
I'm seeing a lot of comments in the chat that were like, they're not nearly as upset about the errors in the videos, but the way that the response was.
Yeah.
I
agree, especially with that forum post because it was just.
Could you imagine if Cable Mod, with the whole melting?
Oh yeah.
Imagine if they were just like, well, you didn't
push.
push it in all the way. That's your problem. No, Cable Mod went above and beyond by taking responsibility for the card that they didn't need to. But there's an example of a above and beyond type of response, right? And caring more about the community. Yeah, I don't know what else to say other than the fact that, I've known Linus as a person for a long time, but I do not know him on a personal level. And this is not keeping safe arm distance from a problem right now. This is the reality.
Yeah.
I know Linus through conversation that we've had while having lunch during Scrapyard Wars, or being to LTX a few times now and getting a chance to have dinner with him while 30 other people are there, etc. I do not know him on a personal level. I don't have a solid read on the guy. I don't think many people really do.
Yeah.
But I believe that what they said in their video and what I know of the team chatting with them outside of work environment, I believe they're genuine in the fixing of the procedural problems. And probably a good idea for maybe Linus's posts on the forums to maybe be pre-read by someone other than himself. But could you imagine being in a position where you own the company and everything you write has to be vetted?
Filtered, yeah.
But you know what? What does every large company have to do before anything public gets written by anybody? It goes through a lawyer. And you know what? You become large enough to a point to where that you either need to just step away from it,
Yeah.
or allow somebody else to proofread your stuff.
And it kind of
comes down to Taryn at this point.
Yeah.
Taryn Tong. He's the one that's now going to have to keep Linus on a, hey, maybe less is more right now in terms of what you're publicly saying. Because we all know, like Luke said, he has not, and I feel bad that Luke has taken on the responsibility of being Linus's handler, but Luke said himself that he's not done a good enough job keeping Linus from driving himself straight off a cliff.
Direct quote from the video, but yeah.
It does direct quote.
Yeah, it's like, and it comes kind of full circle to that responsibility thing, like the size begets the responsibility. Like stereotypical movie quote, right? But like great power, great responsibility, great viewership, great responsibility, because that viewership equals a lot of, it does equal power. It equals influence.
I think that's
as much as we hate that word.
I think that's one of the things that's matured. This is where Nick needs to jump in the conversation. You've known me long before YouTube. Mm-hmm. And you've seen in the early years where I would get really tilted and really salty with negative comments. Right? You've seen it affect my mood like through the day, kind of a thing.
To a point where I also embraced it and just went along with it.
Right. And then we were just pissed off all the time.
Yeah.
But I think as the
I
channel,
did not know these guys during that phase.
No, this was pre-Phil. But
it's why you got rid of your Twitter.
yeah, that's why I dropped Twitter, because I just realized it made me angry all the time.
Every time you open the app, you're just like
it
annoyed.
was, it was honestly the equivalent of trying to play Modern Warfare. Like, I can't go to bed happy playing it,
Yeah.
So as soon as I stopped playing the game, I was
Yeah.
happier, and I could go to bed happy, because if I go to bed angry, it's just going to carry over to the next day.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of strength too to like.
But I think
acknowledge that.
But I think what's changed for me personally is one of the ways that I became much more receptive to criticism is that I started recognizing and really respecting the level of, and I hate the term, influence that I have. It's important to try and get it right. And it's important to listen to what your viewers are saying. Now, it doesn't mean that listening to your viewers makes them right. There is plenty of constructional criticism tweets and comments and emails that we get that are very well thought out and present a very good case. But the problem was those were easily ignored because I lumped them in with the "Jay, you're fat and you suck" type of comments.
Yeah.
But I got really good at parsing those out and then reading the room, and I'm happier now for that. And I think maybe some of that was lost. I literally tensed up to the point right now where I just pulled my neck. I think so,
You have another drink, too. Jeez.
I think some of that has been lost with LMG, and I think they're trying to fix that now.
Like they kind of forgot a little bit about like the responsibility that comes
Yeah.
with that big of a.
But I'll tell you what I don't appreciate, though. I don't appreciate that I immediately was put in a situation here where it's like, imagine you watch two people fighting outside and a crowd forms and everyone turns and looks at you and says, "So what do you think about this fight?"
Yeah, basically.
Answer us. The people want to know. I don't really want to talk at it. So you're okay with this fight then? It's like, I'm just minding my own business and suddenly sides are forming about the fact that I'm not saying anything.
Yeah.
And how is that? I don't understand how. No, silence is not complacency. It's not. The Madison thing, like I said, what am I supposed to say about that? I don't know. I was not there. This is 2 years ago. There is a process that has to be gone through for this. And I'm sorry, but I do not believe in guilty until proven innocent. I believe the process must be gone through. Yeah. Now, I know there's a lot of people that might say that's easy for a man to say. I'm not going to get into too much details, but I'm going to tell you right now, my wife was a coordinator for our county's sexual assault survivor services, where she went out as an advocate and went to hospitals and courtrooms and was holding the hand of sexual assault survivors to give them the courage and the strength to come forward. No one understands as close to being in that situation as I do, and seeing what my wife went through for 10 years, being in that position, the amount of weight that it carried, the amount of issue and courage it takes for anyone to come forward. But at the same time, giving someone courage also means the courage to hopefully let the process unfold properly. Now, we would be talking now social problems if we go into where the process breaks down.
Yeah.
And that's not the conversation we're going to get into right now. And I understand why someone in that situation may not have come forward with that information 2 years ago. I understand this. I can't go into details, but I can tell you right now, it's ugly, it's potentially criminal, and this is no longer their videos aren't accurate. This is now criminal investigation, and you have to let it unfold. I can't comment on that.
Yeah.
So anyway, I hope the first 27 minutes of this stream has given some insight to where I am on this, and the reason why. That's all I'm going to say on it. If you want to know my position, just rewatch the first 27 minutes. With that said, I think people were going to agree. Enough is enough. I'm not talking about it no more. Okay.
Oh.
No. Everyone agrees.
That's very loud. There we go. Sorry about that. We actually had topics.
Yeah, we did have topics.
I like how your first one's about drama.
That's not.
Almost kinda.
Oh yeah, it is kind of. Yeah, you're right. It is kind of. So when Jay told me that he watched The Matrix 4 and actually kind of liked it, it piqued my interest a while back. Because
Matrix 4 is different than the one that just came out?
That is the one that just came out.
Yeah, the one that.
Oh, are we past the statute now where we can talk about it?
I mean, I'm making
I'm
it past
pretty
the
sure
statute.
we are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I just.
It's been more than,
I,
like, what, 2 years?
Yeah, I finally watched it because.
It took me being on an airplane where it was on the plane to watch it.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
same,
when you
same.
told me, because I was planning on never watching it, and then you told me that you actually kind of enjoyed it, and I was like, oh, let me check it out.
It was interesting how they continued the story.
Yeah, it was. But like, so the video on YouTube that I had watched that made me watch The Matrix 4 was kind of paralleling it with Freddy Got Fingered, which is a hilarious.
No, I've seen Freddy Got Fingered once and I don't remember it, and that's
Yeah.
why I just keep saying, "Daddy, would you like some sausage?" Because it's the only thing I know.
Yeah, see?
Oh, and him like putting the mouse in his, like eating the mouse or trying to eat the mouse because he was supposed to feed his snake or his friend's snake.
But the reason that movie was so insane and ridiculous and crazy was because like they didn't want to make that movie. And so
Freddy Got Fingered?
Yeah. And so that was their
Who's
take.
they?
What's his face?
Tom
Green, yeah. Him and like the production crew.
That seemed like right up Tom Green's alley.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the irony, right? And so they
Oh, sorry. Someone corrected me. The mouse issue was Road Trip, not Freddy Got Fingered. Sorry, Tom Green is Tom Green in every movie, so it's just hard to separate it.
So they didn't want to make the movie, and then so because they were being forced to, they were just like, okay, fine, let's just make a really stupid, ridiculous, like most like outlandish movie, so that way, like no one will watch it, no one will enjoy it, and then like the studio will lose money because they'll have to produce this for us, right? And they're funding it, and so
And it did well.
okay, it actually did lose the studio money, and then so that's why they were paralleling it with Matrix Resurrections, because it was the exact same story. In
Did
fact,
Resurrections lose money?
I don't know if it broke even.
See, I think we talked about this in a previous RTFM show, and I think it was before our hiatus.
Yeah.
Where I was like, I'm reserving judgment.
It lost 30 million. 190 million budget, 160 box office.
I wonder how much they paid Keanu Reeves.
I know, right? But and so yeah, and it was one of the Wachowskis. I forgot which one of them, but when they were first approached to do the project, she was just like, "No, I'm done. We wrapped the story up, dude. You know what I mean?" And then so.
Trinity's dead.
Yeah.
How?
They're all
Leo. Neo died. Neo died. How?
Yeah.
But they do explain it in a Matrix appropriate way.
Yeah. And what I loved about that movie was the whole in-movie plot about they wanted to do the exact same thing, but with the Matrix video game, because now the Matrix in Matrix Resurrections is a video game that was written by Thomas Anderson. And then it was like a super popular trilogy.
Mr. Anderson.
Yeah. And then the whole they brought him back and they're forcing him to make a fourth sequel and blah blah blah. And I love the bit with all the game devs and they're just like, what did everyone love from Matrix 1? Wow, bullet time, blah blah. You notice the only time they use bullet time in the movie is they flip it completely inverse. Now you're seeing it from the computer program's point of view, and how slow Neo's moving, and how he can't get to the bullet and that sort of stuff. And I love that they were just like, okay, fine, we'll make a Matrix sequel, and they literally they inverted everything about it. You know what I mean? Like the whole, it's not even really about humanity or what is real in the beginning.
No,
it's just like, LOL, they're making Neo write another sequel to the Matrix,
right?
Which is very meta.
But if for those that haven't seen the movie, and remember again, if you haven't seen the Matrix Reloaded, or what is it called? No, Resurrections, because it's Matrix Reloaded, Matrix Reloaded, Matrix Revolutions, and then Matrix Resurrection. I know they're all R's.
Yeah, they're all.
Anyway, shut up, Phil.
But I digress.
What is the firmness level of said
No,
R?
we already talked about all that stuff.
That wasn't even an actual mistake by him either. It was just
that was a mistake.
It was a mistake, but it wasn't like he didn't.
Yeah, the casual use.
Yeah.
I've thrown my own fair share of firm R's. This is a clip of LTT. You guys gotta go watch it on my show.
Yeah, I think it's called Linus Almost Destroys the Company, which is a very ironic name now. But
the company is not destroyed; it can recover.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving forward, if you guys aren't aware, past the statute of limitations now. If you haven't seen the movie, my bad. But anyway, Neo in the movie is a game developer, and basically
known for a trilogy of games called The Matrix.
Right.
Everyone loved
but it was so. Neo and Trinity were reinserted into the Matrix because what they found is that without them there balancing that equation that the architect initially talked about, caused people to reject the program.
Yeah.
So they gave people the choice, as the architect had to agree to, because he saved the machines and then they had to save Zion, and that was the agree. Give them the choice. That was the agreement.
Yeah. And the machines
people were rejecting it, and when they reject the program, they were dying.
Yeah.
And so they were just like, okay, the only way they found balance was they basically brought Neo back to life, like life-saving measures, etc., reinserted him back into the Matrix and did the same thing apparently with Trinity, which...
And there's an interesting social commentary with that bit too, because Neil Patrick Harris's character says specifically that what we found out was that you guys generate more energy when you're pissed off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or just, worked up in any sort of way. And so that was the whole plan, was keep Neo and Trinity close.
They had to get close. Their energy
enough, yeah.
Their energy was close enough, but they could not come in contact.
Yeah.
They could not.
Because then they would figure out, like,
yeah. Because
hey,
as they became in contact, they started having these flashback memories of
their old...
Of 1, 2, and 3.
Life, yeah.
Yeah, so it was
actually
it was
surprisingly
good.
of a plot. Yeah, I actually didn't.
I just loved it. I was like, oh, of course he's a game developer.
Yeah.
And he's creating a game.
But like then when you look at that part again through the lens of like, oh, this is just what's her face super pissed.
But I love that
at
Neil
Warner.
Patrick Harris's or NPH's character was close to Neo because he was his psychologist.
Yeah.
It was a way to keep close tabs on controlling him.
Because they called him his actual program type was handler, right? Like he was Neo's handler.
Yeah, and he was basically like above the architect at this point.
Yeah. Well, he
developed this
the
new
architect.
world.
Yeah, he's the architect
Of the new world.
Yeah, this is like version 8 or whatever now.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, no, I dug the movie and I thought it was like that YouTube video that I watched cracked me up that you could even parallel that movie with Freddy Got Fingered. But very similar stories of just like creators kind of rebelling at being forced to make something that they don't really want to make all the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So
because he did not want to be a part of that project.
Yeah.
He did not want it. He was like, I'm done. He didn't want to keep writing it.
yeah, I just love that.
But they also have everyone in the world playing his game.
yeah.
Right? Because everywhere he went, oh my God, you're the blah blah blah. And he was like a celebrity everywhere he went.
I love the little twist too of the modified digital self-image because he looks like Keanu Reeves to us.
Yeah, but he looks
to
like
no one
someone
else.
entirely
Yeah, he looks like the ironic thing is the dude that plays the real image of Keanu Reeves' character in the mirror is actually Carrie-Anne Moss's husband.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the fat old balding dude.
Yeah.
That they call that in the movie. So like that's the irony because and then the Chad that's married to Trinity or Tiffany, right?
Yeah.
In that is Chad Stahelski, the director of John Wick series.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I
And
didn't
also
know
his
that.
name is literally Chad, which is hilarious.
See, that's why they
because-
lost money. This cast was way too expensive.
I just love that a Chad got to play a Chad for like
one of
for
the
one
things.
movie.
Did you see the movie?
Yeah, I actually watched it on my flight to Alaska.
It's
so-
funny that we watch on planes,
Yeah.
But like,
airplanes, the place where you could watch a movie you didn't want to pay $10 for.
Exactly.
yeah, but legit, my brain shut off. I'm like, okay, it's Matrix. It was like half the storyline I didn't get because I was like winding in and out of sleep. But I woke up.
That's the worst part about plane movies.
Yeah, but I woke up for the action sequence. Like, all right, this is cool. Then I just kept watching it.
Yeah, I thought it was but one of the things that I ended up watching, I always bring entertainment on a plane. Like my iPad is always full of movies and shows and stuff. Like we went to Indianapolis where I watched like 15 episodes of The Expanse.
I know. Yeah, like you left on season 3.
Two. No, I left 2.
And then you came back at the
On
end of
season
season
4.
3. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I came back
He watched the
episode
whole
2 and
season
season
in like
4.
2 days, basically.
Yeah, but anyway, I went. You know what?
In Matrix 5, the machines kill Neo's dog.
Oh no,
That's how they tie the
it's not
universes.
just a program. It's not just a canine. Anyway, I looked at it this way.
Companion app.
If they got Keanu Reeves back, he had to have seen something in the script. And maybe he just saw a really fat check. I don't know.
Yeah.
But at the end of the
also
day,
be.
oh man. I mean, it was a good movie though.
Yeah, I actually didn't. I didn't hate it anywhere near as much.
I've
as
only
I
seen
thought
it
was.
once.
Yeah.
Whereas I've seen The Matrix 1 like 50 times.
Yeah, I actually wouldn't mind watching Resurrections again. Honestly.
Resurrections
I can use
was
a
my favorite one though because it had so much action.
Wait, Resurrection or
Resurrections
Revelations?
is 4. We'll just use
Oh,
the
sorry,
numbers.
sorry.
We'll just use the numbers.
Revelations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so
Revelations was
3.
all
3.
about
Yeah.
was all about defeating the Smith program.
Yeah.
Because it was self-replicating at that point, like the entire world. And that was the reason why they made the agreement to, hey, spare Zion and I'll destroy Smith, because Smith was taking over the entire machine world. Yeah. Like the whole Matrix, not the machine world, but he was taking
like
over
a
the
virus.
Matrix. And by taking over the Matrix, he was going to basically destroy their power source. Because humans were batteries, right? They were Duracells. So
Yeah.
Yo, copper top. That was the slang term, yeah.
we've talked about this a million times. Regardless of whatever a person's status is on religion, we are in a simulation. Even if you're religious,
It's most likely.
Even if you're religious, This is still a simulation.
And that simulation is telling me to pee. So be.
That is so unprofessional. I want Steve to make a video about this.
Well, hey, be careful what you wish for, dude.
Oh, that's enough. People have been like, there's a lot of people that have been like, Steve should totally expose Jay. You know what I told Steve? Go for it, because I could use the advice. I literally told him that. But anyway, Steve and I have been in a little bit in contact since all this went down. Just want to point that out. But I don't know. I'm going to move on to my topic while he's gone, and then we'll jump to yours. But so I had a meeting today. If you guys are interested in hearing about some of this in the future, I have been discussing what is happening at Asus with Asus. We actually had a meeting with Asus today. So full transparency, we are continuing to be in communication with them, and we are definitely in a holding pattern to see if changes and stuff they've talked about and policies and stuff unfold. But one of the things that we just kind of got talking about as enthusiasts is the amount of effort they put into aesthetics. So aesthetics always bring up an interesting conversation when it comes to PC parts, because and I said pretty parts cost more, right?
Yeah.
How important are aesthetics to you when it comes to, like, say, a PC build, or even like you're building your drone, right? You've built custom drones. How much are the aesthetics of how it looks and stuff important to you?
I put it at a very high on the top 3. I'd say 2. Aesthetics is second place.
What are the 3?
It'd have to be like.
So there's gonna be value, right?
Yeah. Well, bang for buck. Yeah, value.
There's aesthetics, obviously.
Aesthetics, and third would probably be like, does it even like durability, like the quality.
So it's kind of like the 3 things that we weigh when we look at a product is, does it do what it's advertised to do?
Mm-hmm.
How well does it do it? And what's the value? Now, value, the word value itself is completely subjective.
Yeah.
But from our subjective point of view, does it hold value? So the question I posed to Nick was, in my discussion with Asus today, we had just sort of, at the end of the conversation, sort of enthusiasts discussed how important are aesthetics. Right. So what role does aesthetics play in your buying decisions on whatever it is we may be talking about?
It's such an interesting topic, because I
like that we have all.
Wait, he's talking. He's actually talking.
Oh yeah. I have the talking stick. It's actually
he has the
really interesting.
The
topic.
talking tape.
Oh yeah, cool. I'll take that. It's interesting because I made a recent purchase that was basically aesthetics first, and then function came after.
What was it?
Wheels.
For your car?
Yeah.
You bought wheels?
Yeah. And
He's growing up.
It's not for the fit. It's for the Z. I got.
How long till you curb him?
Let's not do that.
I only had to bring it up because he curbed his SSR as soon as
he remote starts it again, and then it hits the.
Remote starts it into a curb.
It's going on the Z. It's not going to the fit.
No, that's what I'm saying. The fit will hit the Z's wheels.
Oh no, no. Please don't put that on me.
Are you willing to say what you got, or is it a surprise?
Yeah, I got Advent RG3s.
What?
Yeah.
I pay you way too much.
No.
Actually, the road is.
What Z does Nick have? Nick has a 350Z HR.
Yeah.
2008, right?
7.
Or 7. Yeah, he's an HR.
Yeah. So
when he played Need for Speed Underground 1, Melissa was like super. Oh wait, no, she has Skyline.
She's in Underground 2. You get the Z.
Oh yeah,
I believe it was Rachel.
Yeah, I think Melissa was the Skyline, right? I forgot.
No, Eddie was the
Eddie's
Skyline. Melissa had that weird Honda Civic.
God, that was like a whole person's life ago.
Someone asked if it's the new Z. I could see you buying a new Z.
No.
Really?
Really. I don't like. I mean, I like the aesthetics of the new Nismo, like the bumpers, like the vents are functional. There's actually pass-throughs and whatnot, but I don't think it's for me. Just on.
Well, yeah, Malco got one. I mean, you get a chance to at least look at it.
I got to look at that one. That one's. I mean, they're awesome in person. I don't think I would own it just because I already have a Z. It's like I don't want another one.
Yeah.
In that sense, and if I were to get anything new, I'm still very much on the fence.
Overland,
Type R or an Overland.
See, I could see you in both.
Right?
I really can.
Yeah.
I could see you in both. But
I could see it in Type R more than the Overland.
So for those of you wondering, like Nick has a Honda Fit right now that's like modified and on suspension. And what are your wheels? You have raised.
It's stock Graham lights.
Yeah, it's stock, dude.
It's stock.
I mean,
it is
carb.
It is
stock.
Hey,
Carb.
did that ticket come in the mail yet?
I already paid it.
Oh, okay. Anyway, you guys don't have to worry about what that was all about. But anyway, but I mean, it's on suspension and has some carbon aero that's peeling.
I think it was tastefully modded.
But you toyed with the idea of buying a Type R earlier this year
Because I was fed up with both of my cars at the same time.
Yeah, and right now they're treating you okay.
Yeah.
But my point is, like, you toyed around with the idea. But what I was going to say is, I think the number one thing that you're enjoying right now is like 38 miles to the gallon.
Oh yeah, totally.
Because
yeah, totally.
no matter what you buy, you're not getting 38 miles to the gallon.
Yeah,
I know.
Because I mean, like that 38 miles.
But I love the
gallon,
fact that I can race your Fit on my Trek bike and probably win.
probably. But like,
Dude, we got to do that. My hybrid Civic versus his Fit versus your bike.
hold on.
I mean, we know I'm going to lose, but by how much?
I still have the talking tape.
If you
guys.
make the race,
Oh, yeah, he has a talking tape. Wait.
Thanks.
I muted us.
Well, like I like the ability. Oh my god. No, I don't want to throw it at. I don't want to hurt him.
I muted us so you can go.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, like the 38 is nice, but it's also still fun to drive with the added bonus of like giving me the ability to think about on the fly, like, do I want to go out this far, like for a weekend, you know, like, do I want to go last minute concert trip or something like that, which I did this week too.
Yeah, but these are not things people normally have to think about with a daily, though. Do I want to go to concert?
Yeah.
Like, this is a unique conversation now. This is completely pivoting from my question I posed to you, but explain yourself.
How far is a concert? Can I make it back at a reasonable hour after the concert to make it to work on time the next day?
What does that have to do with what car you're driving?
Oh, no. Well, the MPGs, like the fact, well,
If you have to spend 5 minutes refueling, it's not like you have an EV that you sit at a station.
It's just like a range thing. It's a personal thing, like, okay, well, how long is this going to take kind of deal.
I literally have a truck that gets like 7 miles to the gallon. I've never once had to plan my route based on that mileage.
Well, you do that. I do this. So
Did you guys know he keeps like a spreadsheet of his gas mileage?
only
I
on
used
the
to do it.
only on the Fit.
Still,
The irony is I used to do it on the Golf.
I'm like, what the heck? I'll see him get gas, and he's like,
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing? He's
do
like,
you-
I'm recording my mileage.
Do
It's
you
like,
use Fuely or are you actually just doing it by hand?
No, I'm doing it by hand.
I'm telling you right now,
Fuely.com. Fuelly.
I should do it.
No, it takes.
Does it tell you? Does it calculate cost if you put in how much
It
it costs?
calculates everything. So all you do is type in.
I
Like,
want to do that for like all 12 of my cars.
Yeah.
That way, I don't have 12 cars, guys, but just because I
He has 11.
12th is in the mail.
It's on a boat coming from Germany.
I know
No.
because I'm such an Audi like shill now.
It would be funny though
I have 3
to
Audis.
track because it does graphs and everything too. It's basically MSI Afterburner for him.
That would actually be kind of fun.
That
'cause
would
I'm-
be cool, yeah.
No,
But that's what I was doing with the Golf.
I understand why you do it now because you can actually like that was a loud slap.
Yeah.
You can actually calculate how much it costs to operate your car that week, right? So I know for a fact like you were comparing driving style, if you will. So I kind of want to see now like the RS6, right?
Like how much
Putting
fuel per
around,
week, yeah.
not putting it in sport mode,
Yeah.
not launching the thing everywhere I go, not say, look how cool this pool is at 80. Like 1 week of driving like an Audi owner, and then a week of driving like Nick, and see like what is the cost difference. I really feel like I should do this.
That would be funny. Yeah, like Fuely
true.
you just type in how much you spent, how many gallons it says on the thing, and then it does everything else. And then it logs it for you.
Fuely.com.
Yeah, and then basically, and you type in you reset the trip odometer every time you fill up, and then you just type in that number, and then it does the MPG calculation.
Well, my Audi already asked me every time I get in the car when it fills, do you want to reset? I say yes.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
your Audi also tells you the MPG too, but
Ironically,
but
the
having it logged
RS6,
is nice.
the RS6, which is a big old wagon, only has a 16-gallon tank. It's a tiny tank.
What?
My
Yeah.
R8 has a bigger tank. So it's like, okay. I
No,
don't
Pacific
know.
has a 10.5 gallon tank.
Meanwhile,
It's
my Ram
tiny.
has a 23-gallon
I
tank.
know.
And I'm just sitting there for like an hour. Glug, 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 glug.
Yeah,
I had to fill it yesterday.
I filled up with you once, and I was sitting in the passenger seat. I'm like,
What's taking
Bro,
so long?
seriously? And I look over, I see triple digits on the price thing, and I'm like, okay.
Well, you've noticed here in California, we're creeping up to like $6 a gallon for 91 again.
Yeah, that's a statement because I noticed, and I get like 40 mpg on a bad day.
Yeah, you have a Civic Hybrid. Yeah.
If I'm noticing it,
I like how Phil's biggest complaint about someone cutting him off is, I just slowed down and I watched my gas mileage
it's
dip.
true.
My gas mileage dipped to 38.
It's wasted
true.
Delta V, dude. You're burning my freaking gas for no
You
reason.
lose. It's momentum you have to make back up.
Meanwhile, in the ZL1, with its like mods and E85, if I go to the trip meter and then suddenly I see 10 or above, I'm like, woohoo! Because it's like 8 to 9 normally.
See, that's the thing though, is that like, because I kind of drive depending on what car it is, right? Like when I borrowed my friend's Beamer for like a Woostafest once, and I drove like a complete asshole because it was
It wasn't your car.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's a Beamer.
No, it wasn't because it was.
It comes with
Yeah.
with the emblem.
Hey, what
Like
did
if I was driving your ZL1 and somebody cut me off, then I would just go around them.
What
and
I
then
love,
gun it.
look, I'm going to tell you what a douchebag I am right now, and people can clip this. This is perfectly fine because I'm owning it right now. There have been times I'm making a lane change on the highway, and I'll go to make the lane change, but the Audi has it wants to keep you in your lane, so it will literally fight you. I'm just like, instead of clicking the blinker, I'll just like force it over. I'm like, no, I am choosing to be a Euro douchebag right now, and I'm making this lane change. Whether you want, so from the driver's perspective behind me, it's like,
It just looks like you're not sure of your lane change.
So
because it gets a little bit in your face, like the Audi. So the AMG
Before
was.
Jay sells all his Audis and gets Beamers.
yeah, you can feel the ability of using.
I
the
will own
indicator
a
leaving your
Beamer.
body.
A Beamer. Wow. I will own a Beamer. As the likelihood of owning a Beamer for me is the same as owning a Mopar. Okay,
Wow.
and that's zero.
Wow.
That is zero.
Okay, that's fair.
So-
Because no one wants to own a boat for the land when you could just get an actual boat.
Like
my guilty
like my
pleasure
follower that
car-
has like 1,000 or 1,500 horsepower Hellcat or whatever. He has
Yeah.
that in like a C3 Vet that's also like 1,200 horsepower. He was like, yeah, he's in Texas, like Oklahoma. One of those, he's literally part of the Oklahoma underground racing stuff.
Oh, nice.
Right. So he was just like, any one of my cars, which one? I was like, well, I'll take the C3 because I don't have a river for you to race the boat on.
That's funny.
Ironically, the Hellcat was probably slower than the C3.
I mean,
but-
I've mentioned this on RTFM before, but yeah, my guilty pleasure, like, dream car is a Dodge Challenger, like the new one.
Really?
Yeah, for some reason. I really
You would
like-
look as ridiculous
I
driving that
know,
as you
that's
do my
the-
truck.
That's the worst part about it. Like, imagine if I was getting out of your truck. Like,
How much
that's what it would look
GTA
like.
have you been playing? Like
No, honestly, that was part of it too. I like that.
Franklin's.
Franklin's car is like a 4-door Challenger, basically. It's like a Charger, but it's longer and it looks more Challenger. Anyway, I really like the lines on that car. And John
I like
Sabal's-
the lines. I do like the lines of the wide body.
It was John Sabal's wide body on air with the SSRs. That was.
You lost me at the yeah.
Jean Sabals.
Let me see.
No, actually, you kind of lost me on air at that point.
Yeah. But I mean, that would be such a Phil Challenger build
I'm being canceled now.
because of the Mopar.
At least I didn't say I use hard R.
Yeah.
God, I need somebody to put that in there for reference.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I mean, I like the lines.
That's not a wide body though.
Oh, never mind. I thought it was.
No, that's not a wide body.
All right.
It's very clean though.
Yeah, exactly. That's like what I would do.
No,
if
to
I
be
had
fair,
it.
I
just
look,
would look
my
ridiculous
issue-
getting out of it because it's such a big car.
My
and I'm
issue with
tiny.
Mopar, my issue, and this is gonna sound terrible. I'm sorry, but my issue with Mopar
It
isn't
doesn't have real tornadoes in the engine.
my issue with Mopar.
No, I don't drive a Ford. No, I'm kidding.
And by Mopar, I'm referring to modern Mopar, 392s, Shakers, Scat Packs, Hellcats,
Mopar baby. Woo.
even TRXs. Let's lump them in there too. They're the same buyers.
Yeah.
It's not the car; it's the owner. Okay,
The same can be
we've
said
all
about
been
Z
to
owners.
enough cars and coffees, car shows, car meets, etc., and we know exactly what to expect when a group of them roll in.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't understand what it is about that car and the cars, right? The Challenger, the Charger, the TRX, the whatever. I don't understand what it is about. I think, honestly, it's just Dodge's really good marketing at being a rebel. You know what I mean? The only thing they're missing is a Confederate flag on their advertising. I'm serious.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, we all know the general Mopar crowd. It's like, look, when I say Corvette, Did you just think of a gray-haired guy with a button-up shirt and a folding chair with a plaque showing all the stock parts on his car sitting at a car show? When I said Corvette, did that image pop in your head?
I got the jorts and the white New Balances.
New Balances.
Yeah,
and the knee-high socks.
And the trying to shove the golf bag into the into the trunk or the front, depending on which Corvette.
But that's one of the reasons why I ended up getting the R8 and not the Z06 when I really wanted the C8 Z06, because I will not be able to escape the meme.
Nope.
I'm a gray-haired, middle-aged white guy who already wears khaki shorts.
Yeah, you might as well just get a New Balance.
Might as well just convert to jorts while you're there.
No, wait, he gets a vet, and it literally comes with New Balances, like they're freshly wrapped in his size already.
I would like to order a Z06. Certainly, sir. What size shoe do you wear? What?
Introducing the new collaboration between
New Balance and Chevy.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's great. Maybe when I have a midlife crisis and I start getting more gray hair, I'll get a Challenger, just because it'll be at least appropriate for the time period of my life.
But circling back to the main question, how important are aesthetics?
So I think it depends on what you're buying, right? So computer parts, obviously, it matters to me. Yeah. Functionality is just as important as aesthetics, and I know if I want to get something that functions really good and has good aesthetics, I'm going to pay more for it.
Yeah,
and I know that. I know there's a lot of people in the industry, like consumers, that will push back on that, and they'll be like, function over form.
Yeah, well, a lot of the do-it-yourself PC crowd is like,
and those products exist,
and that's it. Yeah,
those products exist. Mm-hmm. But I think what sometimes I see is people want like an Asus Rampage looking board at the cost of a $200 budget board. Yeah. We'd all love that. We'd all like, $5,000 Lamborghinis, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately, like, when it comes to cars, I'm probably an aesthetics first guy, to be honest.
Yeah. Otherwise, because the R8's slower than your Z01. Well,
we don't know yet.
Maybe not. Yeah, not in a little bit, but yeah.
No.
But when you bought it, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When the car was stock,
If you were strictly a performance guy, you would just be like your engine builder. And
but I guess that's the reason why like the cars that I own are so eclectic. And it's like, I own 3 Audis because I got the R8, but when I got rid of the company car, which was the GLE, I needed something that still had space so we could go to Micro Center and load it up with parts and stuff and still, put boxes in to bring to storage or from home,
49-inch monitors.
Dude,
or 49. I thought you were going to say 4090s.
Imagine trying to put Nick's monitor in the R8.
But the R8 isn't a. But the R8 wasn't a. That was my midlife crisis splurge. I bought it cash. That way, if shit hit the fan, I could sell it cash and get the hell out of it immediately, right? But the company car had utility needs, and I went, okay, if I have a CPA that's telling me the car needs to be expensive and it needs to be over 6,000 pounds
I wish
gross.
I had this problem. Actually, no, I don't.
No. If we're talking about tax reasons,
it
needs to be expensive for tax reasons. If obviously the most expensive car you can afford, and it needs to be over 6,000 gross vehicle pounds, so we can do a full depreciation on it in the first year. There's only a few vehicles that fit that need. They're going to be SUVs, trucks, EVs, and then something like the RS6, which is why I got that. And then my wife fell in love with the...
Wait, the RS6 is heavier than 6,000 pounds?
It's well over 6,000 gross vehicle pounds.
Damn.
Gross vehicle.
Oh, okay, as in like fully loaded.
That means
with
fully loaded with
passengers
passengers and
fuel.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Oh, okay.
It goes by
Still,
gross vehicle, not curb weight.
Yeah.
So the other thing, my wife just fell in love with the infotainment and the interior of the car, which the SQ7 she has is nearly identical. So that as another personal car. But my point is like, the RS6 had a utilitarian need, but I found a car that fit the needs of tax purposes, but also fit the aesthetics of something that I like to look at, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, this is such first world discussion.
I know, right?
So at least I'm aware of it.
The moment you're talking about aesthetics as even being in the running for anything, then it's immediately a first world discussion, because otherwise you're just going to go for the thing that works and it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like you're not looking any higher.
But realistically though, like my RAM, my 19 RAM, it's been fully depreciated now for years. And part of me is like, do I want to go buy? I've wanted a diesel, but I know for a fact I don't commute nearly enough in that vehicle to ever have it reach regen, or it will be in regen all the time. So, so I would be very hard on the emission system in the diesel. Yes, in California, diesels, I think everywhere now, but California does have emissions requirements for diesels that have to be smogged, et cetera. The truck would just be not in a proper use state.
Yeah.
But part of me is looked at it like, maybe I'll just go buy a used truck. I don't need a new expensive truck. I just need something that we can still carry the big stuff around in and provides that tax
Because that's
write-off
kind of
need.
what the Ram became now, right? It's just the big
Well, the Ram
stuff.
was initially my daily.
Yeah, it was initially.
But as the company grew and the employee counts grew and stuff, it allowed me to have another company vehicle for tax reasons.
And the RS6 also fits the bill kind of better.
I want to
as a-
keep the RS6 though. That's the problem. I don't want it when it's depreciated, which is now. I do.
Jeez, really?
No, because if it's over 6,000 pounds, you can take the full depreciation in the first tax year.
Oh.
Otherwise, it's a depreciation schedule over 5. So we take the full write-off of the vehicle in the first year. So technically, September is when I bought the vehicle. So it's about to be a year old, right? If I was to say, okay, because I'm a co-signer for the company, which is so ironic that the
Yeah, it's weird,
co-signer.
it's weird that companies are people like in the eyes.
Well,
of
no,
the-
it's like literally I am co-signing for myself
Yeah.
as an entity. But if I want to keep that vehicle and say, okay, I'm going to take the company name off the registration and it's just mine now, the company must declare the KBB value of the vehicle as income as quote unquote sold to me,
right, because
which is bullshit in my opinion because no money exchanged hands. Although a value of a property exchanged full ownership,
yeah.
I feel like because I'm 50% on the hook for the vehicle as a person to the entity, I should only be responsible for 50% of the value of the car. But that's not how it works. So anyway, stonks. Someone said stonks. Stonks.
But yeah, well, I mean, speaking of like purchases and stuff, like, I mean, how long?
Oh
did
yeah,
it-
we were
how
talking
long-
about discussion.
How long did it take, or like, what is your typical research window before you actually go in person and get something that big, or like anything in that matter?
I don't.
Are
Okay.
you an impulse buyer only?
No, I just
Or you don't research?
I've been stuck in fixing my finances for so long that I don't really have to worry about that problem because I am not in a position to need to do research to make a purchase that large because I'm not capable of it right now.
Well, I think there's a lot of.
Well, even scaling it down, like, I mean, not even wheels, or like
I think,
the
I
RT
think there's a
Ally.
lot of there's a lot of people that not a lot of people, but I mean, okay, there's people that will research into the ground buying a $30 mouse.
Right.
You know, and you bought the Ally.
I would say I'm probably on the research heavy side for sure, just because like I just go full freaking like ADHD hyperfixated on whatever the thing is before I buy it. But it's like I don't know. I kind of do like a weird thing where I do a lot of research and then I buy it and then I continue to do research for like, okay, cool. What are the mods that I'm going to do to this thing? And then it just kind of keeps going from there. But
I'm a little different in that I'll do tons of research, buy something, and then do research on the competition, and then have buyer's remorse.
yeah, I've done that to myself too, and I'm like, why do I not just do that part first and then buy?
I kind of just, well, yeah, it's about like a week window tops. Like, I let it sit and then I come back to it. If I still want it, it's like, okay, I'll dive a little bit more, see what it's like, and then maybe go buy. But
Yeah, I mean, you guys have seen me like research stuff into the ground, right? But then at the same time, there's some things that every now and then I just straight up impulse buy.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Like, I mean, it's like it doesn't matter for me if it's like the lights, the new light we just got. I've been looking at lights for weeks trying to decide.
Yeah.
And then when I finally pulled the trigger on it, I'm pretty good at when I pull the trigger, okay, that's it. I've made my decision. And yeah, it was more so a joke that I'll research things like after the fact and go, oh, I should have. And that's happened before, but I'm still always happy with my purchase. But yeah, I tend to probably drive myself nuts. Like long before my YouTube channel, my wife would tell you stories of like, they would walk next door and find food and go eat if I went to Fry's Electronics. Because I spent so much time staring at my phone, looking things up, looking at having multiple things in my cart, putting that one back, getting that one, putting it back again, getting the first one. And
You have a shot of me doing it at Micro Center during one of the
Yeah.
one of the shopping sprees that we did.
that was
Yeah.
also me at Micro Center.
It's literally on the website with like 5 tabs open.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think at the end of the day, we want to know what we're getting.
Somebody mentioned researching $1,000 plus headphones is so difficult. It's all subjective. Blah blah blah. That kind of that's an interesting kind of offshoot of your question in that what stuff is hard to research for because yeah, like audio is definitely
It's very
one of those-
subjective.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. Yeah,
Because
it's very
you're
subjective.
gonna see a chart on I forget what it's actually called, but you're going to see the chart of the recreated sound. What's it called? I forget. I'm not an audiophile.
Frequency response.
Yes, you're going to see the frequency response chart.
Yeah.
And you can compare those, but the frequency response chart is only one data point on whether or not you're going to enjoy those headphones.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. For headphones specifically, what I've liked to or found myself for headphones, what I've found works really well for me, it's English, is rtings.com, rtings.com has they do a lot of like really super Steve style like data driven reviews of stuff, right? But their tool allows you to compare the frequency response graphs of any of the headphones they've ever reviewed because they all measure it on the same rig with calibrated microphones and all that sort of stuff. And so what I do is because you can't look at a frequency response graph and just know how the headphone's going to sound.
Right.
But what I do is, okay, cool.
That just shows the capability of the drivers.
Yeah, it's an absolute measurement, but it doesn't matter. Like, your ear's own response curve affects how you perceive the sound, right?
Right.
So what I do is,
And I think I'm a little bit treble deaf, which is why my stuff's always...
you're super treble deaf.
It's very treble sharp.
Yeah. Yeah, like whenever I get in your cars, I'm always just like, dang, yeah, Jay's,
Do you know
Jay's
I've
really...
turned the treble down on all my cars just because of your comment?
Really?
Yeah.
Is it stated?
They were all cranked to the right,
Yeah,
but now they're just past half.
Yeah, I mean...
And you want to know what? I don't hear a difference.
Yeah, okay, so confirmed.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about that to me, like as a, like I don't want to say like, I don't want to make it too dramatic, but it's kind of like, I had this like epiphany of like, because I used to be super audiophile snobby and everything. I'm only getting linear diaphragms and blah, 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 right? Like, what I found is that, yeah, if you have a deficiency in your hearing like that, then it's awesome because now you can just ignore that part of the frequency response graph.
Yeah.
You don't have to care as long as it provides a decent enough treble. But anyway,
But that's because of the years I spent building very, very loud competition audio systems. It's affected my hearing.
Same. I mean, not competition audio systems, but I blasted the
Yeah,
crap out of my
I used to,
custom
in the
subwoofer
very
in the
early
call.
2000s, like right after high school and while I was in college, I used to build DB drag competition systems.
Yeah.
Like we're talking like a brand new Escalade will show up, and then here we are doing acrylic windows, gutting the thing, fully fiberglassing it out, dynamating the entire car, like seeing, okay, can we hit 100 and at the time like 140 decibels of SPL? It's like we're seeing acrylic windows literally wave, like the entire car is just a frequency wave. Building those kinds of systems has been the reason why, one, I can't have bass heavy systems anymore because I get an immediate headache.
That's funny.
And two, I have no doubt it's hurt my mid and high range hearing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that part is super obvious and easy to test too.
It was fun having like long haired chicks stand by the tailgate
yeah,
up.
they're just
It turns into a big, and then seeing it literally, you could see a visualization of the frequency.
Yeah.
It's
so
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah.
But so my trick for when I'm researching headphones is put on your current headphones and then find them in that comparison tool and then compare that to the headphones you're looking for and listen to music while you're doing it. You know what I mean? Because you're reading anyway, right?
Yeah.
You don't need your eyes or you don't need your ears. So
You
listen
gotta
to music,
look at the sound.
and then you can compare like, okay, this thing that I'm gonna get is gonna be a little bit more mid heavy. Oh, it's gonna have a little bit less bass or a little bit more bass or less mid bass and a lot of extension down deep. You know what I mean? Like but it kind of just, because there's so many ways to measure sound, like in an absolute way, like a frequency response graph or an SPL gauge, right? But because hearing is a sense and it has to go through your unique shaped ear and your uniquely wired ear nerve into your unique brain, right? So everyone hears...
No, my brain's more standard.
It's smooth.
Thanks. I'm a smooth brain.
It's just like it's like a, what are those rock
I look
tumbler
like I look like the meme of Picard, but it's all dented.
Or it's like the rough translated English sign. Please no dumb here.
Oh yeah, please don't dumb here. This is not a dumb area. But yeah, no, I mean, headphone audio and stuff is difficult, and also monitors are really hard. Like display monitors are hard to research for because like, yeah, I mean, every time we do a review in which we're talking about a display, it's always just like we have to put the disclaimer of like, we're filming a screen. It's not gonna look anywhere close to exactly what it looks like to an eyeball.
But it's incredible how well that screen looks on our FX6 though. Like when we point it at a screen, it's actually really good.
Actually, yeah.
That's because the FX6 has such a good capability of actually
It's that
not
chromosome
losing
sensor.
color in the luminance of the screen.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's time to go ahead and move on to the FTFA section of our show. This is from the freaking audience. This is where you guys can write us your emails that you think will be interesting. I'm going to say this again for the 1,000th time. I don't know why I'm bothering. Short, concise emails that are fun to talk about. If I open a book, I'm deleting it. Okay? So here's
a short email example. King Badger 3D. Constant high-pitched background noise is tinnitus. Welcome to the club.
Yeah. What's up,
It
dude?
sucks, dude.
So anyway, use these emails as an example. And if you want to write us, it's rtfm@JayzTwoCents.com. So our first one comes to us from Jordan. And I think this is a leftover from last week where I was like, write your question now. We'll read it live. He said, dinosaurs attack! Do you work together to survive or just... I like how I heard you swallow. It's all,
Yeah, I was dying. It was either that or it was going to come out everywhere else.
okay, anyway. Okay, he says, dinosaurs attack.
Grapefruits.
Do you work together to survive, or does someone crack first and ruthlessly sacrifice the others? If so, who cracks, and who do they sacrifice, and how? He says he predicts Nick will crack, but Jay will successfully turn it around and escape.
Why am I like the first person to
I like how I'm not even mentioning because he knows I'm just going to immediately die because heart problem.
Phil's gonna tame a velociraptor. He's gonna ride off into the sunset.
He's gonna come
I
riding
might
into
as well
it.
try, right? Because it's not like I can run away because my cardio sucks.
He's gonna be
so-
wearing like a bush halter top.
Yeah.
Some belly's all showing. I do agree with him that you would crack.
Okay, that's fair.
I do agree that you would crack.
Look how easy he cracked to that interrogation.
No.
It's whatever at
Okay,
this
fair.
point.
No, there's-
Let's
let's
go and see where this goes.
I have known Nick going on 14 years
babe.
now. What?
Nick is footseeing me.
Oh,
so
sorry.
I said, "Hey, babe."
I'll tell you what. I have known Nick for almost 15 years. And there is one situation in which I have not firsthand experienced Nick, and that is fight or flight.
Oh,
Now, I have no idea how he would respond in a fight or flight
you've
situation.
seen it when you farted, and then like I just
Oh, yeah,
like,
you flight.
flight for the
wait,
air
a
freshener.
J fart has triggered your fight or flight response?
But I've also
Like
seen
genuinely
you.
though?
But I've also seen you walk into a closed door. So it's like,
Honestly, that's like the wild. It's like you have to flip a coin to see how I'm gonna react.
but let's face it. In all seriousness, my farts, although comical for you to run for the freaking air freshener, is not a true fight or flight where you don't know how you're going to respond in an active life or death
'cause
situation.
I already know how I'm gonna respond.
But
to
I
that.
have seen photos of how you responded to road rage, and that was a freeze situation.
Oh, that.
So
Probably gonna be same. Yeah.
my point is, I don't know if you would just freeze at the thought of a dinosaur coming at you, or if I'm going to have to throw you at the dinosaur so I could live.
I mean, if I freeze, that's as close as it gets to getting thrown, right? So I just have to stand there. For
Yeah,
you.
but-
I might not die.
yeah.
I might actually survive.
What if the dinosaur just wants its belly rubbed?
Well, you have to try that one on your own.
yeah, I'll let you guys.
I am
know.
definitely a fight or flight. Like, I'm very good at.
Jay has a fight or fight syndrome.
No, I'm not gonna try and box a
respond.
T-Rex. Okay, I know how
not?
that's
Why
gonna go. But my point is, I'm very good at discerning this. There's a high probability of flight just being the right move, but there's also a high probability of you're gonna have to fight, so be ready. Like, I'm pretty good at that. But I don't know how to fight a dinosaur. And if my survival means I have to feed you both to the dinosaur, I love you both, but you're getting eaten.
I genuinely don't blame you, honestly. Like, I mean, yeah, like, dude.
Look,
It's a dinosaur. What
Look,
are you
whenever
gonna
I
do?
watch TV shows or movies where there's always someone being a hero trying to save everyone from something. Look, there's
Like, if you sacrifice me for like a bag of Doritos, then yes, I would be mad. But like a dinosaur attacking, yeah, that's a valid reason.
Are they Cool Ranch Flamin' Hots?
Imagine going
Actually,
to
I
third
would
person.
sacrifice myself for Cool Ranch Flamin' Hots because those are so good and you can never find them.
You just go to third person view after you die, and we just watch him like get Doritos
It's like
afterwards.
Phasma. You get to mess around
Yeah,
with like
you-
objects near you. They just haunt them forever.
Yeah, I'm just gonna haunt you forever, dude.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah. As soon as I die from
look,
the dinosaur, then I get to haunt Nick, and it'll be great.
I'm gonna be honest. I ain't trying to be a hero in this situation.
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure. No one would be. Yeah.
There are situations where I would step in if I needed to. Like, there's been car accidents.
Like if they're attacking your family, then yes, you're going to be a hero.
Look,
But if
I
they're
have a lot of
attacking us-
first aid training. There is situations where I have pulled over with a car accident that has just happened and helped bandage people up until the ambulance gets there. I'm one of those people that will pull over and help when I can. But at the same time, it's a freaking dinosaur.
I think this was a trick question, dude. I think we just weren't supposed to get ourselves in a situation where dinosaurs attack.
How did we get these dinosaurs?
Exactly.
We did not stop to think whether or not we should. That's exactly how we got here.
Should we go to Jurassic Park? Want to go check out some dinosaurs in real life? Yeah.
It still cracks me up that a pigeon is like the dinosaur's ancestor.
I thought it was a chicken.
Wow, you guys used to be that cool, and then now you're that.
I also don't believe I would quote unquote crack. I feel like anyone else, I would endure the situation and then crack after. That's called PTSD.
Yeah.
You know, I think that would happen. All right. This one comes.
IKEA says, or you just throw unlit smudge sticks at it.
IKEA, do you want to play Phasmo tonight? I'm going to play the update. Anyway, Daniel says, have you ever found an unintentional hack that really improved something? Mine is that I stuck Metallica's White Album in my CD-ROM as a kid, and it worked so well when I played Quake. The music tracks are tailored for the levels.
Oh, that's dope.
I thought Quake had metal tracks built into it.
I think it does. Yeah, I thought it was just trying to resonate that.
Maybe he just really jived with Metallica. Mine's going to be something stupid that if I know I'm dealing with a system that's going to crash a lot because I'm trying to OC it, plug the reset button into the clear CMOS. That's it.
Yeah, that's a good hack. I always forget about that too.
That was an unintentional hack?
Well,
I think he's asking what kind of hacks he found by accident.
I think he kind of meant more unconventional as opposed to unintentional.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that works too.
Because it'd be really hard to find a hack on accident.
I haven't found a hack on accident.
I can't think of one.
Huh.
Besides,
always have your 10 mil and 12 mil ready for when you boost
I like
pipes
how
go off.
you have a 10 mil on your keyring.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yo, I bought that out of PTSD.
Dude, I saw that, and I was like, Nick, is this a 10 mil? He's like, yeah. I'm like, there's no way. That's
and
perfect.
It's ratcheting.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody clearly has to deal with their battery all the time too, or boost pipes.
Hey, don't worry about it. Okay?
Boost pipe. Good old 1.8 T. Yeah. That's, I don't know.
I can't think of any unintentional. Hey.
Yeah, I can think of random hacks. Like if you ever want to try on a pair of pants, but you can't, like, you don't want to go to the fitting room, you just take them, like, you know, they're like on the hanger, and then they're like, it's like folded or whatever. Take that and then put it around your neck, and if it basically touches perfectly, then it works out to be roughly the same size as your hips.
That's your hips and your neck.
This was a thing that I saw on the internet. I was like, I've
got a skinny neck and a fat waist. Okay, what? That does not work for me.
Let's go try that theory.
Yeah, just try it.
I promise you, my pants are going around my neck 1.5 times. I promise you. I do not have a big neck, but I have a big waist. It's gonna be like,
okay, it'll work for me and Nick, not
look,
like
Jay's I have a feeling it's gonna go 1.5 times around.
It might actually.
I mean,
bro, you gotta do.
Do you know what my mom said to me when I was young? Look, you know this is traumatic when you still remember this sentence at 42 when you were probably 10 when this sentence was said. And my mom didn't mean anything mean by it, but she said I had birthing hips.
So
she was like,
she told you, like, dude, you're thick.
You know the worst part is that
I was told I have birthing hips.
I know, and he says that to me. The worst part of my brain goes, yeah, no, that makes sense. And I'm like, no, I don't want to think about Jay giving birth.
Well, I've got the hip canal for it, apparently. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna fart that kid out with a slight puff of air with the width of my hips, okay?
You might actually witness fight or flight in that situation.
Yeah. Maybe flight or flight, dude. Which way?
It's flight or flight.
Yeah, which are you flighting that way?
Am I going to the wall? Am I going to take the door like a normal person?
Jay is definitely trying that when he gets home. Yes, I am going to try the pants trick when I get home. I'm telling you right now, it's going around more than once.
Jay's like birthing.
You have a thicker neck than I do.
Jay's birthing like stirrups are ordered from like McMastercard.
You know what? I'm just gonna have to start. I'm gonna have to start. Look on lift because I lift 3 to 4 times a week. I'm gonna have to start doing more shrugs just to like. I gotta get the pants to barely fit.
Oh man.
I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna strap to my forehead.
Like the F1 guys. You gotta do the F1 neck exercises.
Oh my god,
dude, those neck exercises are so nuts. They're like
thanks, Phil, for bringing up old fresh wounds. I'm moving on to the next question.
My parents thought I was gonna be a girl, so they literally painted my room pink. Like, it got that far, and I was like, really, guys?
It wasn't that far off.
I was like, what was my name going to be? And my mom was like, we didn't get that far.
Phyllis.
Like, but you painted my room, and you didn't know what my name was going to be?
My goodness.
Anyway.
It's that, or they're setting a forest on fire, dude. Like,
Anyway, too bad. I'm a boy. Suck small.
Okay, this one comes from Matthew. He says, love the show, guys. I missed you at Micro Center when you guys were there. How often do you travel for openings and the like? It's funny because prior to... Okay, so I went to LTX just 4 days before the trip to Micro Center in Indiana. That LTX trip was the first time I had traveled for work since before COVID. So it used to be fairly often. Like we had gone to the Denver store opening. Yeah. I've gone to a lot of stuff like that in my channel's history, but COVID stopped a lot of that. And to be fair, I was like okay with it. I was like perfectly okay.
Because you were
with
around
it.
the same time of kind of getting over this like travel crap, you know? Of like having to do it.
But what going to store openings or events and meeting tons of fans and the big meet and greet lines, which I was just like,
is this the combo we had in the car?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So I think when it comes to like meeting a million people, I don't know how many people waited in the meet and greet lines at LTX. They were long. They were amongst the longest lines there. I was the largest creator outside of anyone LMG that was there, but I told the LMG crew, I said, I will not leave until the entire line has been gone through. If they're going to wait in line to meet me, I'm going to meet them. And unfortunately, the timer had to be set down to like 30 seconds before the next person. Otherwise, we would have never gotten through the line. But I refused to leave without meeting everyone because, one, if you're going to wait to meet me, at the very least I can do is stick around until I get to meet all of you. I'm sorry. I'm just a regular old guy that I find it shocking that anyone would want to wait in line 2 hours or an hour to meet and talk to me. But that's your decision, not mine to make. But two, it gives a huge boost to our morale. Like as a whole channel, like your morale was all kinds of boosts at Micro Center.
Because it's like you get reminded that
there are people there.
Yeah, there's people behind
real
it.
people.
Yeah, it's not just drama and tweets and doom scrolling and the internet. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, there are actually people that are actually happy to like, you know, that we do what we do, and that's so like humbling and
it's very humbling,
and it fills you with gratitude.
And it definitely reminds me like, hey, these. Again, the responsibility level of what we do, there are real people on the other end of this that we are talking to. So we have to be very responsible with that.
I've never really like told you this explicitly, but it's like for me internally, whenever we're doing videos and stuff, I always kind of have this like, it can be as jank and redneck and ghetto and crazy of a project or like experiment or whatever, as long as it still has a like baseline kind of like amount of science underneath it.
Oh, it's base amount.
Yeah,
base amount.
No, but the thing that I'm getting at is that
I predict you will learn nothing from today's video. That is my prediction.
But if anything, we try to make sure that you will never learn something wrong from a thing, or if it is wrong, this is why you don't do it.
Pump the brakes. We have taught plenty of wrong things, but we're working on it.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying like even with the blowing up a water loop, right? It was like,
well, we learned about 126 psi was the limit.
We didn't have to measure the psi. We could have just blew it up and then that was the video. But
okay,
it was like I like that we're enthusiastic about that stuff.
What we learned was 130 psi was too much.
Yeah,
and that is a data point.
And that also a compressor can like almost kill, like give Jay a heart attack.
Fun fact: that pump res combo that literally split in half is still together and functioning today.
Wait, are you using it in a computer right now?
No, it's the test one.
Yeah.
The acetol material is so flexible and malleable versus the acrylic that it flexed, the threads flexed, the acrylic popped off, and then it went right back to shape.
Yeah, it literally just went,
yeah.
Like it let go of the tube, but then came back.
So we did learn that. Now, what were the limits? No idea, because we didn't test that. But no, what I was just starting to say, though, is that it's like a huge like jump start to just morale and a good boost, shot of adrenaline to the channel. Like we get super creative after we meet people and stuff. The only downside is it's emotionally exhausting to meet that many people.
Yeah.
Like I was telling, and I felt bad to have having to have the the 30-second timer. They started at 2 minutes and then went to 1 minute and then 30 seconds because 2 minutes was far too long for the length of the line. But imagine every 30 seconds, your conversation starts over. And I've said this to you guys already.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm putting this out there for the audience perspective. Imagine, okay, you walked up. Hey, how are you? How you enjoy? This is me. How are you enjoying the show? What's your favorite part of the show so far? Oh, yes, of course, I'll sign this for you. You know, I'd love to get a picture. I think we talked about this last week, but then 30 seconds hits and it starts over.
Yep. All right, thank you.
It is weird, but it's part of the territory, right? And I'm very grateful for the support that we have.
Yeah.
I would never change any of that. Zachary says, do you think we'll see a time when APUs will beat out entry-level GPUs? Thinking about the poorly spec'd 4060 and the rumored future AMD APU matching a 4070. Okay, I want to, first of all, I think you've been grossly misinformed about APUs. We have been hearing every generation of graphics from AMD since the beginning of time that they're working on an APU that is more powerful than a discrete whatever. If that were true, AMD would not have a GPU that is also slower than a 4070, if that makes sense. Now, we've been hearing about APU tech advancing for a long time. Navi, obviously the Navi 21 APU stuff. We have RDNA 3 APU stuff we've been waiting on.
Steam Deck, Ally,
yes,
GPD.
They are getting better. But there is absolutely positively not an APU right now that is faster than a 4070, either in development or even theoretically.
Theoretically?
Yes, that word.
It does, and the only reason that it doesn't exist is because it doesn't
Die size.
Well, no, it just doesn't make business sense to make that. Because then why would you just not sell a CPU and a GPU? You could increase margins on both, right? And then for the people that require an APU, then you can just custom make whatever they want for their APU.
Well, this is just furthering the whole. Remember how everyone swore the PlayStation 5 was gonna be faster than the 3080 and et cetera, and how true did that end up being?
Yeah, it's just an AMD APU, guys. It's like, that's the thing. But I think his question. An APU will never beat...
Theorized. That's the word I was trying to say.
Oh, okay. An APU will never beat an entry-level current discrete graphics card because those are two different market segments that they're not going for the same
because they're
target.
the exact same tech, but the discrete will always be bigger, larger, more dedicated
With more cooling.
VRAM, more cooling.
Because it's not sharing
it's
a cooling
not sharing
solution with a
system
CPU.
memory. System memory is okay. Look, there's 3 levels of data access for the GPU, and this. Okay, so you have the GPU, and then you have the GPU's cache. The cache is the first place where data gets stored. When the cache is a miss, so it's hits and misses. So if the GPU requests information that is cached, that's a hit. That's the fastest response because it's on the die. If it's a miss, it then goes to VRAM. VRAM can serve, I don't know what the exact number is, but it's significantly faster than system RAM. Because if the GPU or the game needs more RAM than what's on the VRAM, it then goes into the system RAM. And that's where you see those pauses and stutters and hiccups and stuff, as it might be swapping at that point to system RAM. But every APU uses system RAM and a small amount of cache for APU hits and misses. So it will absolutely never, ever be as fast as, like, say, a discrete desktop variant of the same generation. Now, you might see APUs 10 years from now be faster than, say, what a 4070 is today, but that's not today.
Yeah, like an example would be, I think the Ally is either equal to or slightly faster than 1050.
The alcohol's not settling in, guys. All you're hearing is a little dry mouth because I dropped my water bottle today.
No, but
I'm 100% not buzzed.
Yeah,
so.
Z1 Extreme versus 1050, like the AMD APU would win. But that's how far back you have to go.
But I've been hearing about this since way back at the A10 processors and stuff. Yeah. It's just not the case.
It's just the answer to his question is that you're asking the wrong question because those are two non-comparable products.
No, but the thing is,
is Nick's Honda Fit ever going to be faster than like a BMW 3 Series?
Yeah,
No, they're not.
Yes.
They're not designed. I mean, yeah, but they're not intended to be. At the same
just
market.
like a Honda Fit, it is way more efficient.
Yeah.
Right? So anyway, but what I was speaking to here is he says, thinking about the poorly spec'd 4060 and the rumored future AMD APU matching a 4070. So I just think he's grossly misunderstood something he's read somewhere.
Yeah.
To think that there's an APU in the works right now that is as fast as a 4070.
That would be such a big die. Because you would have to essentially fit a 4070 die plus a CPU die onto a die.
It's like a Metal Gear of
too many
CPU
dice.
Yeah.
I also hate that dice is the plural of die, but anyway.
Dice?
Yeah. Like dice. That's why there's 2 dice. A single dice is a die.
Yeah.
But also, it is just the plural word for die, even with chips, which is dumb because.
So if you're rolling one die, you're rolling the die. Yeah. But are 2 GPU dice?
Yeah.
Or dies as in plural?
I think it's dice.
DIES.
I think it's DICE. But
This is like that Gallagher bit with English.
oh no. But no, it's not boom, it's bomb. And now
It's not bomb, it's comb.
It's not womb, it's woo.
Yeah, that's one of the greatest. Like, if you ever wanted to have, look, it's funny.
English is my second language. I can completely 100% vouch for that crap.
Yeah, and I
When
know,
was
and I
learning,
have,
was
and I
just
have,
like,
I have several international friends that English is their second or
Just
third
so
language, and
many
all of them
lies.
have told me like, yeah, learning Japanese was easier than English. I'm like, really? They're like, really, because of those rules.
Yeah.
And by the way,
it's because
there's no rule.
Yeah, every rule has an exception, so it's like, what the like,
Yeah.
stop.
All right. Well, speaking of the exception, it's exceptionally time to end the show. I know that was the worst.
Best segue ever.
That was
the worst.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
Speaking of,
Were you
wait,
redoing it?
Yeah.
how? I guess I can't. This exceptionally poor ending is brought to you by JayzTwoCents. I don't know how else to
Brought
say
to you by
that.
Carl's Jr. No, I'm kidding. No, not really. No. Unless you want to sponsor.
No, I don't want a Carl's Jr. sponsor. I don't
yeah.
want to go back to as heavy
We're
as I
all
used to
gonna
be.
We're all gonna be old J Big. Could you imagine?
Old J Big?
Yeah.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Well, I mean, it's old J. You've changed.
I'm
now.
old J now. Old J. Everyone calls me old. I'm like Grandpa Tech.
Oh,
Okay.
Wow. Grandpa.
I'm just repeating
Grandpa
what people
Judas.
have told me. Okay.
Maybe you should
I don't
stop
take it
repeating what they
personal.
say.
I'm a gray fox. Okay, and I'm okay with that.
I thought you said a completely different word.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Anyway,
On that note,
bye.
guys, we're gonna get out of here.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.